we need to shut this down, or, so on. So it's that mentality that Adam was talking about, that, it's my way or the highway because I'm a spoiled brat and that's the way I want it type of thing.
Well, it's also the poison the well fallacy. They can pick one example from one part of one game and say this is a problem across the board in gaming, and that's just a lie. It's not true. So they want to use that to shut down other gamers, and these are opportunists, a lot of these folks. I'm disappointed that there are folks who were unwilling to take a closer look at this early on, but hey, people are catching up now, and that's good.
Well, you're seeing a lot of these. I mean, you've been seeing this since Jack Thompson, who would come in and say, well, this is happening right here, and they invite you to do this. There was a video made by Sarkeesian where she was going over Hitman, and she said, there's this one level where you are invited to walk past some strippers, kill them, and then do whatever you want with their bodies, which is complete crap. The whole point of the game is not to kill innocent people. The thing the path that brings you past the strippers is like one of three. You don't have to do that, and you are penalized for actually hurting innocent people. She completely goes over this, doesn't mention it at all, and it's that kind of mentality that we're fighting right here. These people who make up these lies, who nitpick and cherry pick everything about a game that just to make it sound like it's going against the PC grain. This doesn't conform to my ideology, therefore it's either racist or sexist or so on and so forth. And that's a lot of what gamers got tired of hearing. And that's why you see a lot of this, ethics and journalism stuff. Is stop making it about your ideology. Stop making it about your agenda. We just want to play.
Yeah. They aren't, they aren't really the social justice warriors. They're not really deep down mad at quote-unquote sexist games. Mm-hmm. They're mad that they've not been able to sweep the ideological field clear of opposing views. They thought they were going to take over as easily as they could video games culture as they have other cultures. And they're really pissed off. But it really is an indication of how inept they are, how incompetent their language was. They were too high on the previous successes in other institutions, say academia or government or the media, the mainstream media. They thought, well, if they could do it, we can do it here. But these were children of the people who were smarter than they are, taking over the past several generations, the media, government, and the education system. So they've failed because they got, they just weren't smart enough.
Well, they're up against people who, they fight dragons literally every day, like they have been trained since they were small to win battles, and they were taught that by video games, and they go online, and this is where they live, this is where they argue, this is where they, primarily hang out, and then, they thought that they were going to come in and be like, well, these are just a bunch of nerds hanging out in basements, and, we're going to go ahead and bully them into believing what we believe, and then it turned out that is absolutely not the case, and then they were beaten back by a bunch of people who like to, dress up like their favorite anime character at conventions and draw cat faces and graphs. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are killing me. No, but you're right. I mean, I hadn't really thought about it that way, but when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense. That in the academic world, we're actually taught more and more to not view evil as evil. I mean, you've got Hillary Clinton talking about you have to understand terrorists, and I mean, I watched Maleficent with my kids, and I was literally getting ready to throw things at the TV because evil wasn't allowed to just be evil. She had to have a backstory that made her this damaged victim, and that was why she did bad things. No, let her just be bad. And because you have to have, you can't. I don't understand this fixation. I mean, I do understand it. I know exactly why they're doing it. but I hate it. And I hate that you can't have a good guy and a bad guy anymore, because the good guy has to be damaged and the bad guy can't really, evil can't exist for the sake of evil. And they're trying, these guys who have got this watered down sense of what's right and wrong are trying to fight against people who are like, no, that's evil and I can see it because I know what evil looks like.
Yeah.
And so you have gamers who really have a handle on that, because they're allowed to see in this world where, free speech and free expression is still paramount. They understand what evil looks like, and they can call it out when they see it. And people outside that don't get it.
Andrew Breitbart, our dear late departed friend Andrew Breitbart, he identified these sort of struggles very early on. I wish he had been around for this. He would have eaten this up. He would have had such a good time playing Gamergate that I miss him terribly. But I think one of the things he would have recognized early on is that most people in the gaming culture are center-left libertarian. I mean, I consider myself right libertarian, but I'm definitely anti-authoritarian, and that's where these folks on the left that we've created this sort of alliance with is to fight the authoritarians, and they're a very small elitist group. If I had to put a face to all of the folks, if you just had one face to choose for anti-Gamergate, it would be Nancy Pelosi's face.
True.
It's not Vivian. It's not Anita Sarkeesian. It's not all. It would be Nancy Pelosi, who is Barack Obama, is Harry Reid, who is the hardcore radical authoritarian left. That's the face. Nancy Pelosi's face are these spoiled children who represent anti-Gamergate.
Absolutely. I love it. That's a good one. And I want to bring up a different point here, actually, because, just you asked, why should I care if I'm not a gamer? You might not be a gamer, but chances are your kids are. If you don't, if your kids don't play video games, their friends probably do. And take that into consideration. They are teaching using video games nowadays. I know Minecraft has become if you haven't played Minecraft yet, you should. But they are using it to teach children certain skills.
Right.
And video games of all kinds are being kind of introduced into the classroom because kids love to play video games. They learn from video games. They pick up from them. It has been stated that they want to get their video games, and I'm talking about, like this, the people who would oppose GG and kind of, this hardcore leftist crowd want to get their games into classrooms. They want to get their lectures into classrooms. If you don't yourself play games, this is the reason to care. They want to introduce it into not just higher academia, but younger academia.
They want to ultimately take over your family. They want to tell your family how to behave, what to think, not how to think. And it's important for people who are young, whoever's listening to this, if you're a parent, if you are not a parent and play games or don't play games, or you're a young person, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take away your own self-determination to say, I like this game, I don't like this game. They're trying to tell you, because they consider themselves the special snowflake masterminds, that you are not allowed to like this game. And they're just not smart enough to pull it off. John McIntosh, Sarkeesian, that whole crowd, they're not smart enough to have pulled this off. And that's what I find hilarious.
Yeah, right. And they were beaten by a bunch of, gamers, essentially, people who don't go out into the media on a regular basis and who don't, have GoFundMes and, get invited on Colbert Report. They were beaten back by these regular people. And they're good people, too. To bring up an earlier point, this is an amalgamation, a coming together of different ideologies, different races, different cultures, different sexes. You have they've created a hashtag called Not Your Shield, where basically just a bunch of minorities coming together, including women and gays and whatever, coming together and saying, you do not speak for us. We love to play these games. It doesn't matter if the protagonist is white, if it's a woman, if he's gay. It doesn't matter. We love to play these games, and you can't tell us what game, or you can't tell other people that we don't like these games, that we're insulted. We can make up our own minds. And that's also something to be just really blown away about, is the fact that all of these people from all of these different corners of the earth, from every group known to man, have come together and said, no, this is ours.
Yeah,
we can't have this.
It does say something about the state of society when you have gamers willing to stand up and say, hey, you don't speak for my demographic. You're talking about just journalism regarding video games. But when a politician stands up and says, vote with your lady part, there's not enough people willing to stand up and say, wait a second, you don't speak for me. Like, what is that? I mean, it says a lot for the backbone of the gaming community that, they have one.
These are the same people who are trying to keep, Adam Baldwin, just because he's pro-GG and because he believes what he does, out of conventions.
Yeah.
It's a small collective of group thinkers, and it's fun to see them melt down.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And they do.
Hey, you guys ready for a question from chat? Somebody's asking, have there been any stand-up gaming publications during all of this? So where can we get good information?
Well, one of the first was The Escapist. They were great. Who else?
Tech Raptor's been really good, I think.
Yep.
Or was it Tech? Yeah, it was Tech Raptor. Let's see, what else here? Total Biscuit has always been good.
Total Biscuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, there's one more. Then it's epic. Hang on.
Forbes magazine's not a gaming publication. He's been very honest. Yeah, he's been very, very honest and objective. Good journalism. I think it's so hilarious that the bad journalists, and you can go up and down from Lee Alexander to this some Kuchera dude at this other publication, Kotaku or Polygon, whatever those guys are. They're the bad journalists who are unwilling to look at things objectively, and they're the ones that are crying the loudest. So it's kind of fun. Just don't. Whatever, click on them. I don't care. They're not going away. They're not going away. It's actually kind of fun to see them exposed to the sunlight to see how silly they are.
Yeah. APGNation.com, by the way, was the other one I was thinking of. But you're totally right.
Okay.
Again, these other websites, they're not going to go away. They're still going to be here. Gawker for sure is still going to have Kotaku, and they're going to. But now they've had to come out and say, well, if we believe this is our stated goal.
I think, Brandon, you can also address this thing. I think it's swept under the rug in all the salacious details of this. Is this IGDA collusion between the developers and the exclusion of them? And there's definitely some corruption going on there.
Oh yeah. It's academic level stuff. But from what I understand, and honestly, Sargon of Akkad could explain this way better than I could. He's actually been really studying this stuff. But from what I understand, this is a group that came together of academia raised.
No. That's DIGRA. I'm talking about the International Game Developers Association.
Oh no! I haven't studied into that.
No, DIGRA came out of academia, and yes, Sargon could hit that. Maybe you should have him on. But the IGDA, they claim to represent everyone in gaming, and yet they are ideologically hard left authoritarian, and they're culling the herd, as it were, of anyone that has any sort of pro ethics in gaming journalism and disclosure. They're cutting them off.
Yeah. That's
I hope
crazy.
there's more. I hope there's more investigation of that. But ultimately, that's a lot of